aside. For our next round, I'm here with Jack McGarr for our lightning round. For this round, Jack will answer as many sided questions as possible in the allotted time. Jack, are you ready?
Hit me with them.
First off, San Diego Padres general manager AJ Preller should be named GM of the year. Agree or disagree? The Padres are currently 22-15, good for second in the NL West behind only the LA Dodgers and first in the NL wildcard race. Jack, do you agree or disagree that Padres GM AJ Preller is the MLB's GM of the year?
I have to agree with it. I don't think anyone expected the Padres to really be even in contention for a playoff spot, let alone already standing for a wild card spot. And with the move that they got Clevenger just now before the trade deadline, I think really it's hard to argue against him for GM of the year. So.
Next up, do you agree or disagree that if Wayne Gretzky could get traded, anybody could get traded? In August of 1988, after leading the Edmonton Oilers to 4 Stanley Cup championships, Wayne Gretzky, widely considered the greatest hockey player of all time, was traded to the LA Kings for 3 players, $15 million in cash, and a first-round draft pick. What do you think? Do you agree with the sentiment that if Wayne Gretzky could get traded, then anyone can?
I don't think anyone can be traded. I think there's a point in time where people need to be traded because either they age or maybe injuries or something like that. There are players that really mean a lot to some franchises, such as Wayne Gretzky himself. And I think his time had come at that point. So I think really there are players that shouldn't get traded, but I think there are players that can get untouched.
Our next question is off the topic of sports. Do you believe that Earth has ever been visited by aliens?
I'm a big believer in aliens. I do think there is life outside of this Earth, so I do think at some point in our history there have been aliens that have visited, but can't tell you when or what they did, but I do believe that they visited at some point.
Next up, we're on the topic of football. After being cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars, running back Leonard Fournette is one of the most highly coveted players in the free agent market. Should the newly relocated Las Vegas Raiders make a go at signing the veteran running back?
It makes sense in a way. They do have Josh Jacobs as the #1 running back, and he should stay that way. But Leonard Fournette would be a great backup if they can get him for cheap. If he's asking for money, then I don't think it's a good signing. But if they get him for cheap, I think he'd be a great #2.
On the topic of the Jaguars, with their release of Leonard Fournette, are the Jaguars prepping for an eventual move, or are they just rebuilding?
I think they're just rebuilding. I know that they could move because of their market, but I think they're just rebuilding because they really had nothing to fight for with their current roster, and I think they're going to try to make some moves in free agency and the draft to try to rebuild that roster and get back to playoff contention.
Now, continuing with the trend of running backs, you have the first pick in your fantasy football draft. Who are you taking? Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, or someone else?
I would say Christian McCaffrey just because he doubles as a running back and a wide receiver. He can really do it all for you in fantasy. He's going to put up monster numbers every week. I could also see Patrick Mahomes going as a #1 pick type deal just because of what he provides on the point value. But I would say Christian McCaffrey for me.
Well, that's all the time we have for our lightning round today. Jack, thank you again for joining me.
Thank you.